Okay, there's a contact on that's concerned. What we're doing, these small ones, and I'll show you. Now what you can do, you can come close and see the meter. Just get the dial.
Oh, it's right there. I'm getting there. Glare. Okay.
Okay, what we're doing is picking up a pressure right here.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the interference is coming from, and that's what we marked. These other pictures are just heat readings, but that's actually a subluxation right there.
Do you want to have everything in, Doc?
Okay. Now what we're going to do is just go down. These are basically just heat readings as we come down here. It's still heat reading because if I go over it, it's not going to break. Let's stand there. But there is a break right there. And every time I run it, no matter how many times I run it, it's just going to get worse. And that's where we mark the film. Okay. In the Pisciform, you have to have it on that dot, and that's what we have to set. We can't let the hand on, you can't get all over it, you can't push it and make it move. You've got to get, this is the spinous, you've got to have the Pisciform on that bone. Then you have to take all the slack out by the contact hand, and then you lock the spine in, and when you set it, the only thing that can move is the vertebrae. That's basically what we're trying. All the adjustments are done this way, and they all are sort of, you don't, so you never set a segment, you only move the segments. Yeah, I mean, we can't criticize you, you know. If you're doing something the first time, it's kind of hard to hit a home run. But what we want to do is we want to set it straight across here, not in the table. 90% of the adjustments are done. You roll them over and they set them down like that. Well, you're not going to get anything to move if you're adjusting it into the table. The only way you can get it to move is in the direction it has to go. It has to go from P to A. Otherwise, it won't move, but you can make a lot of noise. You can change symptoms with it, but you won't remove nerve interference with it. Okay, you can try it once again. See, what you got to do is lock the, you got to lock the spine in, get up for a minute. You got to lock the spine in here this way, okay, so it doesn't move. I've got to adjust into my leg so that the spine doesn't move. Because if I lock it, I'll keep it from moving and moving over. If I let this go down, see, he starts to roll. When you can roll that way, the body's going to absorb the thrust. That's okay. All right, sit up over here again. Go over that same spot where the pressure was. It stays right where it is because what happened is you didn't move the segment. Okay, let's have you lie on your right side. I'll set that for you. On your right side. I'm going to do it, bring it right over, straight over. Set that right in there. It doesn't make any noise, but it's moving. Okay, now you can sit. And it takes the reading out. You didn't hear anything move, but it can only move so far. It's not going to make any noise necessarily. But what we're doing is getting that big break out of there. What we do is get something like that. Okay, we found one right there. A little bit right there. That's the one we had before. Okay. I'll set the atlas because the atlas we don't get so much time. See, he's locking, moving to the right, so what I want to do is set that atlas for him. Just drop down. I'm not going to use any. Just set it. Okay, let's see what happened to that atlas. Okay. And that's all we're looking for, is being able to move that segment to get the pressure off of it. The only way you can find out if you've ever given an adjustment is to measure the interference before and after you give the adjustment. There's no other way you can check anything. If we don't have a way of checking it, we can never develop the skills in doing it. That's a problem. Is chiropractic's never been tested on any kind of adjusting. You can do any kind of adjusting and call it chiropractic. Pull them on the ears, and you know. Okay, let's go. We're going to set the thoracics. Gonstead says basically, if you're going to set the segment, you've got to set it through the body of the segment. If you take the spinous, it takes the energy out of the posterior artery, and in the thoracics, it's just diametrically wrong because all you're going to do is make the spinous go more inferior. So if we want the segment to move, we have to take contact on the transverse processes. And you've got to do one thing. If you're going to use a fenar contact, you have to use this point of the problem. And at this point, you're going to use the pisiform. So what I'm doing is I'm getting contact right on this transverse, and I'm getting right on this transverse. And all I'm doing is taking the slack out, and the force is going to go right through the body. If I take the spinous, all it's going to do is make the spine go more inferior. And in the thoracics, you have to use transverse process. Okay,
Doc.
lie down.
Show your hands.
Hmm?
Show your hands.
Show 'em. That's
Okay.
this is one.
Thank you.
Hand. See, what I'm doing is taking all the slack out before I set it, and I set it right at the end. So you don't see the spine moving. You only see the vertebra moving. So we didn't use any more force. In fact, less force than when you thrust it the other way. All we have to do is move it very minute on the end.
Hold on there.
So we went to 0.
Nothing.
Okay. This is a C6. C6 right there. All right, you want to try it? Someone's going to try it. I'll go through this first of all, so I'll show you what we're trying to do. Give me the spine again. In order for a cervical to move, it has to move from the inferior to the superior. You cannot drive it in. If you take the neck back and pull it and drive it in, you're only going to make the spinous go more inferior. What you want to do is bring it up forward so the spine, the vertebra will go back on top of its articulating surface. So what you want to do is you want to open up the spaces between the spinuses, and you want to get underneath as close as you can. And then what you do, then what you do is you bring the neck back, but you use this contact point. You don't lose this contact point. So when you bring the head back, you keep your chin down so that when I'm pushing, I'm setting the segment up. I'm not doing this, bringing the head over and doing this, because all you're going to do is make it go worse. Anytime you see anybody bring their head up and go and drive forward, they're going to make it worse. Make a lot of noise, can change symptoms, but they're not going to correct vertebral subluxations. And so this is the way we move it, and it's moved, the thrust is up, so we pick it up. We don't want to throw it. It's already, when it goes up, it's already going to go anterior too. But if I start to go anterior, I'm just going to bring the neck over and set it in. And that's basically what happens in 90% of the adjustments in cervical. And that's why I don't care if they're what grade it is from Gonstead on down. You got to do it. Gonstead did this, but he never told anybody how to do it. He said what you should do, but never showed them how to do it in the cervicals. Okay, now you can sit. If you're setting the segment up, you don't need to put straps on. The only reason you put strap on is to keep the body from going forward, and that means you're driving it in the wrong direction. Wasn't that exciting? No one can do anything wrong. It's just a question of you set the segment or not. It's just like you got to hit a lot of balls before you can. you know where it goes if you're playing golf next time. So what I'm going to do, it doesn't make any difference what side we're going to set these on because they only subluxate to the posterior. So I'm not putting any tension on, but I have the contact on my finger. It's not on the side of my hand. And so if I want to set it, well, I do it just a little bit. Okay. I just bring it straight up. The reason it didn't move the first time is I didn't have all the slack out of it. Sometimes I'll do that. Sometimes if it does want to move, I'll set it from the other side. It depends on how the muscle structures are and how much slack I can get out of it. Okay? Get some pressure at the Alice. And we'll see if it goes down in the spine. See that reading? It's going with the right all the way down.
It's gonna be a good one for you, Northern.
Sure.
All the way down.
Here inside your head.
Okay. Hold this for me. More to the left. Where's his x-rays? We just shut the x-rays.
I think they're
Already?
I got it on film.
Now, the reading went down there, but what happens to the rest of the spine? See, it's all staying in the middle now. And we took the pressure off the core. You've got a pressure there because he's got a subluxation there. The other ones went out, so he's got one there.
It's okay, I think he's good. You're getting used to seeing this trick every week.
Getting one right here too. There's this one. See, what happens is you have to keep going over that, and it has to stay at the same spot all the time. If it doesn't, it's just heat reads. But the more you go over it, the more it stays in the same spot. If we were picking up heat, and that's not what we're picking up. It picks that up, but that's not what we're looking for. If I rub this side, it should change that reading, but what it does, it just aggravates the reading. It doesn't help it because it stays in the same spot because it's the nerve transmission that we're measuring, and that's what we're trying to move. Okay, let me see what's going on here.
Check. Yeah,
Yeah. This just goes to the top and the bottom. Because this is what should you don't want these lines to go different directions because they're not going to move. It's not going to tell you what's happening. It looks like what he's got is a posterior sacrum. Let's stand up here. Okay. Lift up the right leg. Okay. There's no motion. Let's lift up the left one. Doesn't move. They're both parallel. Okay, what I'm going to do is have him lay on his right side over here. Okay. Now you can stand up over there. Now we'll see. Picture. See what happened here. Lift up the right leg. Okay, now it moves.
Wow.
Now the left one. Now it
Wow.
moves. Now sit down and we'll see what happened to this to the reading.
You're a miracle. I can walk.
See, the reading went to 0. We didn't do anything to this one, so it should stay there. Should stay there until I move it. Okay. No, lie face down. over here on the high-low. Okay. What I would do is get rid of that big brake. So let's see, it's right there. Let's see what happens. Yeah, let's stay there too. So all we're concerned about is making sure that we're taking pressure off the spine. Chiropractic is based on one thing, that the nerve transmission is what controls the function of the system.